How much should you spend on Amazon KDP ads? Can you sell a book with 0 reviews? Should you use automatic campaigns? What bids should you start with? How often should you optimize your ad campaigns? If you're guessing with Amazon ads, you're probably just burning profits from your books. In this video, I'm answering real questions from people from my private community Q&A session so that you can run ads that actually scale your KDP business. First question. How often should we optimize our ad campaigns? If I start new campaigns, for the first few days, I'm just looking at them every day just to fine tune the bid levels so that it starts generating the data. Because the initial bids that we are setting is more like guessing. We can follow the suggested bids levels, but this is not always accurate. The bids that Amazon is suggesting, right? So in the first week, I'm going every day, just making sure that I'm achieving that consistent data flow. And then I'm applying optimizations maybe twice a week at the early stages, but later on I'm switching to once a week and to fortnightly. Second question, how do you determine the right bid level for a new campaign? I wouldn't try to be perfect when setting the initial bids, because we have a process to adjust these bids and make informed decisions depending on the data that we collect. So if you set the bids, if you make a mistake that you set the bids really low, as I said, that first period, it can be a week, it can be 10 days, that I'm going into campaigns each day and checking the data. So if you set the bids really, really low, you won't be getting any impressions, any bids, any clicks. So if I see that tomorrow, I will just increase that bid and I will return a day later. And there are still no clicks, no impressions. I will increase that and increase that. And within a few days, I will achieve that level of bid that allows me to generate enough data. And what is enough? I mean, if I plan, for example, to spend $10 per day per campaign, so that could be my baseline, let's say. So I'm starting low and then increasing each day until I achieve that $10 spent per day constantly. And if I run it for a bit, it will give me enough data to apply optimizations. And if you make really aggressive mistake on the other hand, so you will set the bid really high, you will see that quite fast. So you will spend your entire daily budget of $10, for example, within 4 hours, and your campaign will be stopped. It means that it is too high and you have to reduce. So that's in that initial stage after running campaigns, you will achieve that correct bid level that allows you to generate the data. Third question, how much should we spend on ad campaigns each month? It all depends on your niche, basically, and also on your royalty. So if I would have to give you one number, I would say that in order to get meaningful data size, you have to spend $500 per book, split it between automatic campaign and that manual broad campaign, for example, if we are running 2 campaigns, 2 discovery campaigns. It doesn't have to be a month. You could spread it to 2 months. After spending that $500, you will have, for example, 800 to 1,000 of clicks, which can be a meaningful data sample to say that, for example, your book is profitable or is not profitable, and you have to adjust. Less than that would be a bit too small, in my opinion. But of course, if you are able to run campaigns on really low bid levels, like for example 20 cents, you can spend less. Quick note, all these questions and that recording come from my school community. If you want to grow your KDP business and learn ads together, you can just join us by clicking the link in the description below. I hope to see you inside. Question number 4. In which countries do you publish? I'm starting with English-speaking countries. I mean, if I publish a book, I make it available everywhere, basically. If some niche really works out, I mean, it is working great, then we can create a book series then. And if it is working really great on English-speaking countries, we can think about translations. So for example, when I had my best-selling niche, I created a series in English, but then I made the translations to German, French, Spanish, and Italian. So effectively, I had 5 language versions. I've been running ads on all marketplaces that are possible within Ads console. But I wouldn't rush with translations before I prove that the book is working and is profitable. Question number 5. Can I start ads with 0 reviews? That's exactly what I did a few days ago with my recent book. So that example that I showed you on the presentation was with 0 reviews. Is it ideal? No. No, because I think that there is a difference between having no reviews whatsoever and 1 review, even psychologically. So if someone sees our ad, there are not too many items displayed as ad, right? There is a cover, and I think the cover is the most important. The title, the ratings, so the yellow stars, right? And number of ratings. So the difference between having no reviews or 1 review, so that the stars are appearing, psychologically, in my opinion, makes a big difference. But there is no big difference, in my opinion, between 1 review and 10 reviews, or between 100 and 150 reviews. If someone is interested in the topic, if you have a good cover, it is not such a big difference to risk your book or your account trying to generate that unverified reviews, for example. As you may know, I mean, Amazon is right now quite strict about it. So if you can get 1 review and then start ads, but you can also start ads straight away. Question number 6. Where can I adjust bids for different placements? Top of search, rest of search, and product pages. Inside the campaign, you may see the navigation on the left-hand side menu, and there are 2 options depending on your campaign type. So either it will be called bid adjustments or placements, depending on the campaign type. Sometimes if you go into campaign, you have to go into ad group, and then you will see bid adjustments. And sometimes if it is 1 campaign for 1 product, it will be just straight away in the main menu. In the meantime, you can go into your ads dashboard and see if that works. And if you still cannot find it, just let me know. Question 7. How much do you usually adjust the top of search bid percentage? I would say, Dagmara, this is also similar to bid levels. So initially when I start ads, this is like guessing a bit or estimating. And then depending on the data, I'm adjusting. So for example, if I start new campaign, I'm setting 50%, for example, for top of search. And then I'm checking the data on regular basis during my optimizations, for example, once a week. And then if I see that for top of search, I'm not getting any impressions still, I'm increasing that until I get impressions. And then I can go as high as 100% or really high until I get some data. And if I'm getting the data, so clicks and sales, I'm adjusting. So if I'm getting the sales with really low ACOS, like 10%, for example, I'm increasing even more. But if it happens that these clicks are really expensive and it is not converting so well, I'm decreasing that to achieve that. This is like adjusting the bid levels. So I'm adjusting that percentage to achieve my target ACOS. If my target ACOS is, for example, 30%, I'm adjusting accordingly. Question number 8. How can I display my ad only at the top of search? There are some variations because in the bootcamp, I'm sharing the core strategy that's applicable to most nonfiction books, I would say. But there are some different supplementary or bonus tactics or strategies that we can apply. And there is one that's utilizing that top of search really intensively. So this is called sometimes a sniper ads. So we are running the campaign with really low bids, like 20 cents, 30 cents, depending on your niche. And then setting the top of search adjustment really aggressively to 200% or 500%. So as a result, that campaign will be most of the time inactive, I mean, it won't be displayed on product pages, for example, or rest of search, because the bits are really low. But if it is applicable to be displayed on top of search, it will be displayed on top of search only. Question number 9. What's the logic behind starting auto campaigns immediately instead of waiting a month for Amazon to learn the book? Automatic campaign, as I mentioned, is giving a lot of control to Amazon algorithm, right? And if we publish a new book, and you're referring to that, I think, so you're right that it takes a bit of time and a bit of data for Amazon algorithm to understand our book and index that properly. So the longer the book is live on Amazon, the more sales it generates, the better Amazon can understand what it is about and which audiences are interested in that book. So we could wait, but I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of starting sooner than later. My approach is that I'm running auto campaigns straight away, but I'm closely controlling that and controlling the budget. So for example, I mentioned that we are running auto campaigns and manual keyword campaigns as a discovery campaigns, right? So if I allocate my budget, I'm putting more focus into manual keyword campaign than to auto campaign, because of the reason that you mentioned, that at the beginning there's a risk that it won't be indexed properly. And also, if we are running auto campaign straight away and we are checking the search terms report, we can just analyze how good the algorithm is in understanding our book. So at the beginning, maybe we will see that it is totally illogical and it is targeting really irrelevant targets. But over time, we can, we have that control. We can see if it is getting more and more accurate or not. If we weren't running auto campaigns, we would be just guessing that it is the right time to start or not. Question number 10. How should we interpret search terms from auto campaigns, especially substitutes targets? The process would be, for substitutes, would be the same as for any other keywords or asins. So I would be just checking the statistics and trying to find within these search terms, I would be trying to identify profitable and unprofitable search terms. Profitable search term would be the one that is generating your sales with reasonable ACoS, meaning around your break-even ACoS or lower. And unprofitable would be the search term that is generating a lot of clicks, for example, 20 clicks, 30 clicks, without any sales. If I find that, I will add it as negative target. Also, if you find some search term that is generating you sales, but with really high ACoS, like 150 to 200%, that could be also treated as unprofitable. I see that you mentioned that it is getting sales. So if these sales are profitable, if it is happening constantly, so for example, some search term generated you at least 2 sales, I would extract that to separate exact targeting asin product campaign, so that you are not only advertising with automatic campaign and hoping that this particular substitute will be targeted, but you can extract that to exact product campaign that will be explicitly targeting this asin, this competitor. Question 11. For a relaunch, if a book is 8 months old with sales history but suboptimal campaigns, is the ad setup different compared to a new book? If that book was live and has a sales history, that's even better. And if the ads were running, there are some data already. So the starting point is a bit better than running the ads for brand new book without any history. So in terms of extracting that data from campaigns, as I mentioned, the most valuable data is search terms report. And unfortunately, Ad Console is retaining the data from search terms report for 65 days only. So if you were running ads earlier, you won't have access to that data. But if it was within last 65 days, you can access that. And you can just check which keywords were the most profitable. So that would be good to extract those keywords. So that would be another input into our research. And apart from that, I wouldn't say that there is a really different campaign setup. I would follow the same approach that I mentioned here. So I would do a research. So inside a research, I would look at competitors and extract the keywords, for example, from them. I would do a free niche research in order to find these keywords that we will be using as initial starting point. Then I would start the discovery campaigns. I would probably start like really simple campaigns setup with manual keyword broad or phrase. And I would recommend broad. But if you are quite sure about the search terms, search volume, you could use also the phrase, but the broad could be the best for discovery. And apart from that manual campaign, I would start also automatic campaign. And then after fine-tuning these ads also so that they start generating the data, I would apply optimizations. And as you apply the optimizations, as you find profitable targets in the search terms, I would extract these search terms to exact campaigns as well. And in the long term, I would run these discovery campaigns and exact targeting campaigns. Question 12. What tools do you use for keyword research and book creation? For the research, for keyword research, niche research, I'm currently using Helium 10 Cerebro mainly, but I will be exploring more alternatives, especially that they changed their pricing policy, and I think that Helium 10 is targeting and developing into more for people that are selling via FBA. I think so. For books, for KDP, I find that Cerebro tool is the most useful. And they even removed recently the possibility to buy Cerebro a la carte, so that you can just buy that one tool. Right now you have to buy entire subscription. And also other tools are really developing quickly. So like Bookbeam and Publisher Rocket, of course, and the other ones. So in terms of creating the books, so for example, I created the book with Publish Flow. In terms of formatting, I like using Affinity Studio. In the past, I was using Adobe InDesign, for example, which is not free as well. But yeah, then I purchased Affinity. I was really happy with it. And right now, Canva acquired the Affinity. So entire Affinity Studio is free. And it is amazing. I mean, I love the Affinity, that part for the design, so Affinity Publisher. I use Canva as well, but mainly for the interiors, I'm using Affinity. Question 13. If you have a book that's selling well, do you still keep running ads? If the book is selling well and I'm running ads and these ads are generating me sales with profitable ACoS level, I'm running ads forever. I'm not stopping. I mean, you could try, you could experiment and measure. The only way to check how your ads are helping with your organic sales is to measure, current performance, then stop ads and see what happens with organic sales. There's a high chance that your organic sales will drop a bit. You can measure how much, because pushing the sales with ads helps to improve the organic sales as well, because your rankings for certain keywords will be growing. If there is a keyword, someone searches for that keyword, and let's say that your ad is displayed on top of search, so there is ad, and also organic ranking is also on the top, let's say, right? So your book is displayed twice, so you might be tempted to pause your ads to not to lose money for these clicks, because buyers are not paying attention to whether this is a sponsored sale, search result, or organic. So they might click your ad and you will be paying for that click, right? So some people are saying that you should, at this stage, you should just reduce your ads to display only that organic result. But on the other hand, that's a good thing, in my opinion, to occupy as much space on Amazon as possible. So if you are able to occupy, top of search with your organic result and ad result, I would do it. I would keep running the ads if they are profitable, because you are also, pushing your competition to further places on search results. If you want to scale your book sales with Amazon ads, just make sure to watch this next video where I show you exactly how to run the ads the right way so that they can be profitable.